Good afternoon, sir. I'm Mansi Raghuvanshi from Group 6 with my teammates Manpreet, uh, Anjali Mehta, Rahul, Yukta, Shivani, and Dimple. We are here presenting to you Satyam Computers, their scandal, and what we learned from them. I would like to start with introduction. Let's first know what corporate fraud exactly means. Corporate fraud refers to illegal activities undertaken by an individual or company that are done in a dishonest or unethical manner. Satyam Computer Services was founded in 1987 in Hyderabad, India, and by 2008 had revenue of over $2 billion. As said in Exhibit 1, it was one of India's top 5 companies and won various awards on innovation, governance, and corporate accountability. It had an extensive client list of 500 companies. The company was the subject of what was called India's biggest corporate scandal in January 2009 when Chairman Ramalinga Raju admitted in a letter to Board of Directors that the corporate account had been falsified, adding approximately $1 billion to the company's cash and cash-related assets. The government then appointed a board to oversee the sale of the company, and in April 2009, Tech Mahindra bought 51% share of the company and saved it from complete collapse. Company defunct in 2003 and now known as Tech Mahindra. It's no longer known as Satyam Computers. Now let's know what exactly Satyam Computer scandal was.
Okay, thank you, Anjali. Actually, uh, we are group number saying the second last. So I'll try to make it interesting for you guys also, sir. So starting, please, can you please change the slide, Anjali? Yeah. Sir, what I interpreted, I've divided it into small parts, like what actually the fraud was, why did the fraud happen, how did the fraud happen, who was benefited and who was not benefited, and the recommendations. So, sir, I'll start with what was the fraud. Sir, he overstated the assets, he understated the liabilities. We all know that. But why he overstated assets? Why he understated liabilities? Sir, uh, the balance sheet is the most important part of the company's financial statement. Like balance sheet is shows the financial capability of a company. It is important to the balance sheet shows the insights of the company, like what is going on exactly in the company. So who we have read it a lot, like the users of the financial statements, like the investors, the creditors, the government, and other agencies as well, uses or interpret these things like the balance sheets and as well as the income statements to know the financial position and the financial capability of a company to invest or to provide loans or something else like that. So balance sheet is the most important part. Sir, he overstated the liabilities. Uh, he understated the liabilities and he overstated the assets. He inflated the income statements. Sir, this is the fraud. He overstated assets just because to show that he is going he's going on a great growth, or he's increasing the net income of the company. Sir, overstating of a asset and understating of a liability shows that the net income of the company is very strong, or the net income of the company is uh, very uh, is increasing, so that the company will be growing in the future. Sir, overstating the assets, I mean, like he is overstated the cash and bank balances. He overstated the debtors. Understating liabilities, I mean, he understated the liabilities, various liabilities. Like he provided took loans. He took loans or other financial assistance from other financial institutions to keep the wheel moving. He inflated the income statement. So that I would like to I would request you to please imagine a flow chart. Like we are with sales now. I have overstated, or I have increased my sales. That will generate revenue, that will increase my revenue, sir. Sir, yes, sir. So sales will increase my revenue. The revenue will increase the company's assets like the cash and bank balances. The cash will increase, the bank will increase. He stated that the bank state he created fake bank accounts, fake bank statements, and showed that the excess cash or the excess revenue is kept in the banks, where or he has put it in the fixed deposits from where he is earning interest income. Secondly, sir, fake sales or fake invoices will directly relate to fake datas. Like if I'm selling something, I'm selling it in either in cash or in credit to the datas. So, sir, in our first parts we have shown why he created the fake bank statements, or why he created the several FDs, and second is we are showing the why he created fake data. So third thing, uh, uh, first of all, this chart is not single statement, or not a single balance sheet statement. It is a fabricated balance sheet as well as the fabricated income statement, like showing the heads under the balance sheet that were overstated or understated, and the revenues and the income statement heads like the revenues and the operating profit. Sir, it is showing nil in the total. Sir, this is just because it is just showing the balance sheet of September 2008 till September 2008. So, sir, a bank balance sheet is made for a year. Like if we are starting from 1st April, we have to show a balance sheet in 31st March at the next year. So, sir, still we have not made that balance sheet. That's why the total has not been presented here, but the differences is still presented because he has overstated or understated these liabilities in the next in the former quarter. Sir, the revenues he increased, because of which the operating profit and the operating margin also increased. Like, sir, if we go by the go by the formulas, the operating margin says that operating profit divided by revenues will give me the operating revenue, operating margin, sir. The, the actual was 3%. That was actually 0.28%. It was written in 3% approximately in the case study. Second is the revenue part that was reported, like what he actually inflated was 649 upon 2700. That gives me the operating margin of 24%. So, sir, the basic reason, I'll say that I'll come to the basic reason in the next slide, sir. Yes, sir. So now we have a general idea of what actually the fraud was. Like he inflated or he overstated and understated the things. Now, how he took place, how he did that. I've covered that bank accounts wala part in my previous justification, and I'm coming towards the 6,000 fake salary accounts, sir. So 6,000 fake salary accounts I've seen in the case study as well. It was written that 6,000 fake salary accounts was just created to divert the company's amount to the Matus properties. If I'm creating 6,000 fake salary accounts, I cannot directly take money from Satyam for Matus. I'm creating a tunnel, or I'm creating an area or a road for diverting my company's Satyam's company's cash and bank balances or the money to the Matus. Such 6,000 bank accounts, salary accounts, but done basically for diverting the money and appropriating that profit for the using that profit into Matus properties. Sir, forged board resolutions. So board resolution is an important part. For example, if we have to take a loan from a financial institution, the company has to make a board resolution where every board member has to sign it. So the fact of this fraud was only known to Ramalinga Raju and his personal few people, like the general auditor. They were known of the fact that, so that they created forged board resolutions to take loans from the financial institutions, just because to keep the wheel or the operations of Satyam moving, and just keeping the Satyam alive. So cash raised through ADRs. So ADRs is a form of raising money from America's stock exchange by the Indian companies. Like if I'm an Indian company, I'm issuing my shares. I'll issue my shares to the banks. The depository banks will convert that shares into the depository receipts in the amount in the currency of US dollar. I have issued shares in the form of rupees, but the depository banks will convert it into the form of US dollars. That will be issued in the stock exchange of the America, that is New York Stock Exchange and other stock exchange as well. This is a form of taking money from or in earning income from the American stock exchange or the US stock exchanges. Sir, he raised money, but he never showed that into the bank accounts, into the balance sheets, or into the financial statements of the company. Sir, now I'm coming to the reasons behind the fraud. Sir, if I'm inflating the sales, I'll directly inflate the EPS, because sales will sales minus COGS, then I'll come to the operating profits, then I'll subtract the selling and administrative expenses, then I'll subtract the income interest, and I'll subtract the taxes, and finally I'll subtract the preference dividends provided to the preference shareholders. That will come to a point where the money that will be left to me, or the profit that will be left to me, will only be for the equity shareholders. So, sir, if I increase my sales, I'm increasing the EPS. So, point number 2, it is written that keeping high earnings, that means keeping the EPS of the company high. So, diverting company to real estate investments. Sir, whatever I told you about the fake salary accounts, or the accounts, the amounts that were inflated or diverted indirectly to the Metis Properties, was used to provide to invest into the real estate sector. He actually thought of, like, if I'll take Satyam 1 lakh from Satyam, and I'll put it into the real estate investments. If I'll get a profit of around 8 lakh or 9 lakh, I'll sell the property in 10 lakh. I'll increase the profit, or I'll get the profit of 9 lakh, and I'll put the 1 lakh of the initial investment back to the Satyam. But it was not that didn't happen. So second thing, he wanted to raise the equity compensations, executive compensation. Sorry, executives are the senior members of the company, like the CEOs, the CFOs. Ramalinga Raju was actually a CEO or the chairman of the company, so he wanted to raise the executive compensation to directly benefit him as well. So I'm making huge profits by selling stake at inflated price. So I've now increased the EPS of the company. My share price is going into the another into by increasing from 0 to 1 to 2 to, it is increasing. I've inflated the bank balances. I've inflated everything to increase my share price, and increase my to make my company look very investable. Like if I'm the investor, I'll see that the company is growing, I'll invest into it. That will increase the demand of my shares, and that will increase the share price of the company. If the share price will increase, I am the promoter of the company. I'll sell my shares, and I'll get profits or returns from it. That is what is the basic meaning of making huge profit by selling stake at inflated price. Greed of money, sir. All of this, why he was doing this everything, because he has a greed of money. He has a greed of power. He wanted to become the best IT company in India or in the country across. So he increased all these things to decrease the competition in the market. And there are things like prestige and desire. Next slide, please. Yes, sir. The tunneling effect. Here I've written it is an unethical business practice in which majority shareholders. Sir, we've written in we've seen or uh, there it is written in the case study as well that Metis Property and Metis Infrastructure had a stake of 35 and 37% respectively of Ramalinga Raju. Like he was the majority shareholder. He had the control of the company. He control can be of two types, like voting rights as well as appointing the board members of the company. So he had the right he had the right to of the Metis property and Metis infrastructure. So he wanted back it. Sir, he was now being nothing was happening. The last thing to fill up the fictitious assets or the fabricated profit was this Metis acquisition. That is known as the tunneling strategy, like using the properties of a specific company into your company by not providing anything in the form of a tangible cash or something like that. I'm not providing anything to the particular company of which I'm taking the assets of that respective company. That is the tunneling effect. Sir, he failed to execute that tunneling strategy. That is why the fraud actually did not happen or did not took place. If it would have happened, we were not maybe we were not reading this case today, or maybe we were not known to the fact that that Ramalinga Raju has done all these things in his past. Sir, last I'm completing. That is the promoter's contribution or the promoter shareholders pattern that is decreasing. My interpretation of that was like if I have inflated the profits, my price of my shares is also increasing. Now I have an opportunity to sell my shares, my promoters shares, to get that return from the or to get the profit from that inflated profit and the actual profit. Like if I have I'm known to the fact that the company is growing and my profit will increase. The share price of the company will increase. I'm starting to sell my promoters shareholding, and I'm using that money into Metis properties or Metis infrastructure to make more huge profits from Metis properties or Metis infrastructure. Sir. That was my interpretation of that table as well. Sir, who were not benefited by fraud. He said, I have not earned a penny, single penny, or I have not sell shares in last 8 years. Sir, my interpretation, this is purely a wrong statement, or I can say that we can interpret that if he would have not sold the shares, the promoter shareholding would have not decreased. So I can relate to the point that he did only he wrote that statements only to keep his reputation to keep the reputation to keep his reputation in the market, or to keep the goodwill of his name in the market. Secondly, sir, the other board members were actually not known to the fact. That is the true things. Like the other senior executives, if would have known to the fact, any person would have blowed the whistle, sir. Sir, next thing, the family members. The family members were actually involved in all these things because the Metis infrastructure and the Metis properties were actually the companies of his sons. So recommendations given by Ramalinga Raju. He told that let's take a step forward. Let's make a task force, and if you are okay with it, make Ram Myanpati the chairman of that particular task force. He entrusted the Merrill Lynch to provide him for mergers or acquisitions in a more convenient manner, or in a actually in a more stable manner. So the next thing he's told was, let's you can do restatement of statements as well. Restatements, sir, can be done only by the order of NCLT, sir. Sir, restatement is a form where uh, we can actually do whatever we have done in the past, whatever the fraud was done can be corrected. So you can restate. I'll tell you every fact of what I have increased or inflated, and you can restate and make the company or make the accounts true and fair view, to give the true and fair view of statements, sir. That is all from my side. Yukta will continue from here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Manpreet. So, sir, as we know that the auditor play a very important role in any company. So I will tell you that how the auditor came into picture when after the exposition after exposing of fraud. The just a second. What is happening? So, Satyam hired PwC for audit to audit their books of accounts. PwC audited the books of accounts of Satyam from 2000 and from 2000 until the fraud came out. And PwC maintained and signed the financial statement of Satyam, and that's why responsible to ensure that all the rules mentioned under the Indian law should be followed properly. Then after the whole scandal came out, many commentators criticized PwC for failing to detect the fraud, and the most important item that was troubling everyone is that okay, 1.4 billion dollar 1.4 billion dollar uh, which was claimed by the Satyam to have in their balance sheet. It was a non-interest bearing deposits, and according to any accounting professional, company, a trustable company, either invested the money to interest bearing account or return the excess money to their shareholders in the form of dividend. Then then but even after investment and return, if the large amount of money is founded in the balance sheet, then the auditor here should be followed the must be followed the red flag warning, in which he verifies that that the how the company is making money or earning the money. And here the auditor PwC never ever solely verify that with the bank about the extra cash which was kept in the balance sheet of Satyam. PwC played a very vital role in this whole scandal. Whenever Satyam needed extra pay, whenever Satyam needed more pay to meet its expert appraisal, he simply created a imaginary source for it, and it did so various numerous occasions. And without the auditor finding about the misrepresentation. And Satyam, PwC was audited the book of accounts of Satyam around 9 years, but never detect the fraud. Whereas the Merrill Lynch, who was appointed for merger and acquisition, exposed the whole fraud in just 10 days. Also, Satyam paid PwC twice what the other firms would pay their auditors. And next one is the numerous factor that was contribute in this whole scandal. First one is independent board of directors, um, uh, who had the, uh, who had the right to take all the informations from the owner, but they did not consider their right, and never asked the owner about the company. And on the other hand, the investor who invest their money in the company, but they never take a proper detail about the whole money. After having all the informations and versions, they never become aware of the fraud. And the other factor which was contribute in this scandal are the aggressiveness of investment, uh, excessiveness of maintain stock prices, and greed of corporate growth, and lack of transparency, and the most important, whistleblower policy, which was not successful in this company. Thank you. Now Shivani will continue.
Okay. Please change the slide, Yukta. Okay, after listening to all these about the scandals and what happened in the past, I'll going to the topic that what happened after the revelation of this fraud. So the first and the foremost thing that happened with the company is termination of engaged company. Two companies are engaged with the scandal. These are Merrill Lynch and PwC. So after the revelation of the fraud, the two companies Merrill Lynch has terminated from this, and PwC also took into the screening, and it is revoked by the government. Then fall of share. Then after the revelation of the fraud, there will be fall in share like 544 in 2008 to 11.50 rupees in 2009. The share price was decreased to this level. And in if we talk about the New York Stock Exchange, then in New York Stock Exchange, the price of share in 2008 is 29.10, which fell to US dollar 1.80 per share. Then, if we talk about the criminal charges, so many criminal charges were brought to the company, like conspiracy, breach of trust, and forgery. What is conspiracy? Conspiracy means a secret plan by a group of people to do some harmful activities or some unethical activities. And if we talk about the breach of trust, then breach of trust is something that fall to deliver between the agreement which happened between the two companies. Then, if we talk about forgery, then forgery is something which is made through the fake documentation or fake banknotes and to take someone's fake signatures, etc. So, these are the criminal charges which brought to the company. Then, if we talk about the prevention for collapse of firm, then prevention is the measures that government took to save the company from totally collapse. So, what are the first steps which are took by the company? So, first step is appointment of new board members. So government appoint the new board member like Goldman Sachs and Avendus Capital to sell the company within 100 days of period and as soon as possible, because company want to prevent the company from total collapse. And SEBI, Security Exchange Board of India, also appoint Justice Baruch to do this in an effective manner. Then, after all these efforts of these board members, the company sold sale of Satyam Computers took place, and the company finally sold to the Tech Mahindra. which bought this Satyam company in $1.30 per share. It is the value for which the company take over. Then after this, the company gained the real stabilization from November 26th, 2009. It will again go into the brightness. The Satyam will again have a bright future, but as a Tech Mahindra, because it bought it 51% of total shares. Change the slide, Yukta. Okay. If we talk about the fall from grace, then the first thing that come in mind that why it is increasing, matlab, value of share is rising, then again falling, then again rising. After the revelation of the fraud, only the value of share is rising. Then why it is happening? So if we go through the dates, so in December 16th of December 2008, the share value is 226.55. So in this time period, the Satyam is trying to take over his own property, which are Matas. So, but in 17 December, the meeting took place between the board of directors, and they debated on this matter, and they came to the conclusion that it is something is happening between the companies. So so the price of share fall. Then again come to the date 18th of December. The share value is 169.50. It is because of shareholders are trying to buy back their share. Then again, if we look to the 22nd of December, the share value is 162.45. It is because of two independent directors resigned and signed off because of fake valuation. They are not agreeing to the thing that is done by them. Like forgery, इसमें हम लोग consider कर सकते हैं. Then, if we come to the 23rd December date, the share falls to 140.70. It is the drastic change because into 22nd December it is 162.45. Then it will fell down to 140.70 because the World Bank confirmed to ban the Satyam company and not doing business with it to 8 years because of improper benefit to the employees. Then if we go to the date 26th of December, then the independent director Mangalam Srinivas resigns from the company. This is the major reason for this drawback. Then the share price started increasing in 29th of December 2008. It is 148.10. It is why because as far as of my knowledge, I thought that the Satyam Board company says that lenders sold their pledged shares by Raju's family. They are holding their pledged shares, lenders of that company. Now, in 30th of December, Harvard professor Krishna Palaku said that he put the scandal is going on between the equity. They are showing their share high prices because they are doing some fraudulent activities. They are doing so why? Because they are doing it within their family. Like it is planning to purchase the shares of its own company, and these things are happening within their family itself. Then the share price is going to increase because these all scandal or these all is running between the company's board of member and the director itself, and the other outsiders have no idea of what is happening within the company. So if the shares are taking back, then there is a flow of shares in the company, and demand is also increases because of that. Then after the revelation of the fraud by Ramalinga himself, he revealed that he is doing fraud to his company. Then the share come down from 177.20 to 39.95%. and it is the major fallback of share in that era. It is Sensex is about 7.3% fall, and the share also plunged to 70% after this. That's all from my side.
The main victims of the Satyam computers are employees. They spend anxious moments and sleepless nights as they face non-payment, projection cancellations, and layoffs, etc. Clients. They review their contracts and express loss of trust, and they preferring to go with the other competitors, just like Cisco, Telstra, World Bank, are cancel their contracts with Satyam. Shareholders. They lost their valuable investment and doubt about revival of India. Bankers. It were concerned about recovery of financial and non-financial exposure and recall its facilities. Indian government. It was worried about its image of the nation and IT sector affecting faith to invest or to do business in the country. Thank you. Over to you, Anjali.
Oh. Now the next topic is corporate governance issue at Satyam Computers. Quarterly, in every quarter periods, they started to grew their earnings. As Raju admitted the fraud he committed about nearly $276 million. In the process, Satyam grossly violated all the rules and corporate governance. As well, the Satyam scandal had been the example of the poor CG practices. It had failed to show a good relation between shareholders. They had failed to continue the faith between the shareholders and the company. Then CG issue at Satyam arose because the non-fulfillment of the obligation of the company towards the various stakeholders. कंपनी के जो भी एम्प्लॉयज थे, इन्वेस्टर्स थे, कस्टमर्स थे, या जो भी सप्लायर्स थे, जिनको हम स्टेक होल्डर्स बोलते हैं, वो बिल्कुल भी सेटिस्फाइड नहीं थे, क्योंकि उनके साथ बिल्कुल भी ट्रांसपेरेंसी शो नहीं की गई थी. और स्पेसिफिक इंटरेस्ट आर द फॉलोइंग: distinguish between the roles of board and management, separation of the roles of CEO and chairman. हमारे जो बोर्ड ऑफ मैनेजमेंट सेपरेशन थे, सीईओ और जो चेयरमैन थे, उनके सारे जो काम थे, उनके जो रोल्स थे, वो सेपरेट कर देने चाहिए थे. द अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ एन बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स एंड एग्जीक्यूटिव कंपेंसेशन एंड प्रोटेक्शन शेयर होल्डर्स राइट एंड देयर एग्जीक्यूटिव. जो भी हमारे शेयर होल्डर्स थे, उनके पास राइट्स थे कि वहां जाके विजिट कर सकते थे और बैलेंस शीट कंपनी की चेक कर सकते थे, पर उन लोगों ने भी नहीं की. और अब उन लोगों के पास ट्रांसपेरेंसी बची ही नहीं थी, क्योंकि सब कुछ ऑलरेडी खत्म हो चुका था. तो देयर शुड बी प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ स्टेक होल्डर्स राइट. हमें शेयर होल्डर्स के राइट्स का और स्टेक होल्डर्स के राइट्स का, दोनों को हमें प्रोटेक्ट करना चाहिए था, और उनके एग्जीक्यूटिव्स का भी ध्यान रखना चाहिए था. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. Lesson learned. Then what we learned from the case.
Now I would like to conclude. Company profile should be accurate. Means profile of the
Sir, am I
company should
audible?
be reliable. Hello.
Yes, Anjali.
Sir, sorry for the inconvenience. There was some network issue sudden happened. So let me I want to continue with my lesson learned.
Okay, continue.
Okay, so we were on the fourth point, that we should not forget the corporate social responsibility. We should follow our social responsibility towards our customers, because of the customers only we are about to earn. We should have improved reporting transparency at least in some aspects. हमें हर कुछ periods में हमारी जो भी ट्रांसपेरेंसी है, जो हमारे शेयर होल्डर्स हो, चाहे इन्वेस्टर्स हो, चाहे हमारे जो खुद के एम्प्लॉयज हो, जिनका पर्सनल बोलते हैं, उन सबके साथ हमारी ट्रांसपेरेंसी होनी चाहिए, ताकि हमारी चीजें जो भी क्लियर है वो क्लियर चले. जो एंड में नहीं हुआ सभी एम्प्लॉयज वगैरह के साथ, एकदम सडन शॉक था, जो हमारे साथ कभी हमें नहीं करवाना चाहिए. तो इट वाज अ वेकअप कॉल दैट हेल्प स्ट्रेंथन अकाउंटिंग एंड रेगुलेटरी प्रैक्टिसेस. इस वेकअप, ये हमारी एक वेकअप कॉल था, जो हमें उस टाइम पे पता पड़ गया कि हमें हमारे अकाउंटिंग और रेगुलेटरी प्रैक्टिसेस को स्टार्टिंग से ही देख के चलना चाहिए. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. मोर ऑन लेसन लर्न. सर ये गूगल है, इसमें 3 पॉइंट बहुत ऐसे लगे जो जरूरी थे. इन्वेस्टिगेट ऑल इनएक्यूरेसीज. अगर आपको थोड़ा सा भी डाउट होता है कि आपकी कहीं पे भी चीजें इनएक्यूरेट है, या आपको कहीं पे भी आपकी बैलेंस शीट थोड़ी सी भी गड़बड़ लग रही है, तो हमें उसी टाइम पे उसको इन्वेस्टिगेट कर लेना चाहिए, हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी से भागना नहीं चाहिए, ताकि वो जो छोटा सा था वो आगे चल के बड़ा ना हो। देन जो रेपुटेशन रूंड हुई है, वो सिर्फ उनकी कंपनी की रूल नहीं हुई, वो होल इंडस्ट्री की रूल हुई है, वो हमारी कंट्री की रूल हुई है। तो हमें पहले से ही देखना चाहिए कि आगे चल के हमारी कंपनी, अगर हम कल अपनी कंपनी बनाते हैं या हम किसी और की कंपनी में भी काम करते हैं, तो ऐसा कोई स्कैंडल ना हो जो हमारी हमारी कंट्री पे इफेक्ट दे। तो हमें वो चीज ध्यान रखनी चाहिए। एंड नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नमेंट नीड्स टू बी स्ट्रॉन्गर। सारी कंपनीज के पास अलग अलग एग्जीक्यूटिव होते हैं टॉप लेवल मैनेजमेंट के, तो हमें जो हमारा टॉप लेवल मैनेजमेंट है वो देख के ही चूज करना चाहिए कि वो आगे चल के ये सारी चीजें ना करे जो राजा रामलिंगम ने करी थी। और वो उन्हें कंपनी के लिए की या खुद के पर्सनल व्यू के लिए की, वो स्पेसिफिकली ना हम बता सकते हैं ना आप लोग बता पाओगे, क्योंकि एक्चुअल सच तो नहीं पता है। बट देन टू हमें हमारा जो भी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है, तो वो चीज क्लियर करके चलना चाहिए कि हमें हमारी कंपनी का गवर्नेंस, उनको इतने सारे अवार्ड्स क्यों मिले थे, क्योंकि उनका गवर्नेंस उनके वजह से, भले उनने गलती की पर बाकी सबने तो अपने पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से सही से काम कर रहे थे वो कंपनी के लिए। तो हमारा कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस स्ट्रॉन्गर होना चाहिए। तो दैट्स ऑल फ्रॉम माय साइड। नाउ इट्स अप टू राहुल टू कंक्लूड।
So now I would like to conclude. First, company profile should be accurate. Means profile of the company should be reliable or fair. It means all financial statements are well maintained or correct. Second, in this case, Satyam scam, Raju shows maximum profit. So they make fake invoices. It was around 7,500 fake invoices. But by invoices, Raju shows sales. But where is the profit? So for profit, Raju shows fake bank statement, like it shows many cash reserves, which is not be actually. So the invoices and bank statement should be appropriate. Third, to find why company proprietor sells their share. If the company do manipulate, so first of all we know and to identify that why company promoter sell their share. Is there any fraud? This helps to identify company statement. Fourth, bank overview, the company financial condition. It means how big or small company it is, and amount. The books of accounts of the company is always maintained, and it should be fairly. Thank you.